I always felt at ease on that river, being I spent my whole life on it or near it. But there was one time I actually feared for my life. I thought the Hudson was finally going to swallow me up. And while I can't say that my life flashed before my eyes, I can say I had a vision. A vision of me in a little red dress. We were ice fishing off of Camp Smith Station. The ice that day was heavy, good and thick. About a foot of ice with a foot of snow on top of that. Me and my partner was in a crew setting nets, basically sawing a long trench in the ice, about 8 to 10 inches wide and about 100 feet long. Taking the ice out with ice tongs, dropping the net in, securing the net every 10 feet with wooden sticks that we had wound in the line, setting them across the trench to keep the net from sinking. Now there was 2 other crews just upriver doing the same. We were out for striped bass, but mostly what we caught was perch. So it happens that one of the crews went ashore to the shanty for a cup of coffee. They were the bunch in the middle. So after a while, I see one of the fellows from the crew way above come down, and he's waving his arms frantically, jumping up and down, and I'm thinking, gee, either he's drunk, frostbit, or crazy. I see him pointing at something which looks like a big black snake on the ice. But it isn't. It's the river, the black water where the ice had separated. We're adrift. The ice that we were on broke off from the shore, and now we're sailing across the river on an ice floe acres in size. That fella's still waving his arms and pointing it out to us, and I'm thinking, why are you telling us? We can't do anything about it. Those guys who went for coffee realized what was happening, and they took a rowboat and put it on a sleigh and dragged it across the ice and dropped it in the open water and set out to fetch us. In the meantime, that ice floe has conveyed us 3 miles, almost as far as Stony Point. They finally catch up to us. And our first priority is to load the equipment in the boat. Ice saws and ice axes, that gear was our livelihood. One of the crewmen, Felix, says, I know somebody across the river. We can stow the equipment and retrieve it later with the truck. So they drop off all our stuff and row back to get us. Now it's a long distance from our ice floe back to that ice that remained on the beach. Getting in that boat, I realize it's one of the only times in my life I've ever been scared on the water. It's a small boat. There's too many of us. And the boat is doing like this the whole way. Most of those fellas was as scared as I was. We were all just sitting there, scared to move, shivering more from fear than the cold. The boat is riding real low in the water. We were surrounded by icy waters just inches from the gunnels. Water that cold can do you in quick. Yeah, I'm scared. You know, when I was growing up, my mother was deathly scared of the water. She had heard of too many drownings or near drownings and didn't want me anywhere near that river. But I always loved fishing. The river was like a siren to me, calling out, Henry, I got some fat fish for you. So no matter what my mother said or did, soon as she was out of sight, I'd go down to the river. Eventually, she would come looking for me and see me in a boat with my friends. And she'd yell out, Harry! She called me Harry to distinguish between me and my father, who was also named Henry. Harry, did you catch enough fish yet? Yeah, Ma. Well, bring 'em in. It's time to cook 'em up. I wasn't fooled by her tone, 'cause I could see as clear as day that wild cherry tree switch she had with my name on it. When I met her on the path, I tried to give her a wide berth, but there was no escaping that lacing she gave me. I can still feel it. My mother had another memorable way to keeping me close by. We had a good-sized backyard, and all the kids would come there to play. But after a while, they were ready to go to look for entertainment elsewhere, often down by the river. And of course, I wanted to go, but my mother wanted me to stay in the yard. So after several occasions of me eluding her watchful eye, she formulated a plan. The next time the kids left the yard, she came out of the house and took off all my clothes. And despite a heroic display of struggle, put me in a little red dress. Now, at first I was ashamed to go out wearing it, but it didn't take me long to get my nerve back, and I went fishing, red dress and all. Me and those other fellas in that little dinghy, we finally hit the other shore. I was never so happy to be out of a boat in all my life. And I thought about me in that little red dress, and how there was nothing that could keep me away from the river. That's the power the river had over me, and it still does. Thank you. Thank you, lady. Thank you.
This is Keith Bullock from
Thank you.
Westchester Collaborative Theater. Written
Thank you.
by Stephen
Thank you.
Hirsch and
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I digitized that little red dress.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening. Thank you. Thank you so much.